All right. My name is Lauren Sabina Nisley. I voted Baby Love Child, and obviously I have certain disagreements with many people on this panel. Adam knows this. If he has read along any of my stuff, he certainly knows some of my thinking on this. DMZ, I want to start from the beginning. I am an adopted person, and the genuine adoptee rights movement does not even joke about the tactic of kidnapping legislators' parents to make them empathize with us. This is disgusting.
Well, that's why I said
No,
it.
it is not.
That's why I said
It is unconscionable, it is disgusting, and the real adoptee rights movement completely divorces ourselves from that entire, that's disgusting. I can't believe you did that here. But my point is that I am an Ohio adoptee from the closed, the sealed records years. I am one of the few authentic voice people in this room who has been left behind by legislation that has allowed some before and some after, and a middle segment that does not get theirs. The Institute and other people on this panel supporting the New Jersey bill. The New Jersey bill stands to seal the records of every single child that goes through the Safe Haven program. This is a sealed records bill. It is going to seal the records of people who have not even been adopted. This creates an entirely new class of sealed records individuals, because normally records are sealed upon adoption. But if a child goes through the Safe Haven program and is never adopted and goes into foster care, this will create the nation's first sealed records foster care kids. I'm a former foster care kid. This is unconscionable. Support for this bill is, I'm shaking, I am so angry that people in this room would support leaving some of us behind. Adoptee rights are a human rights issue. And any state that talks about compromise or will come back later, no state has ever come back later to clean up the mess made by these bills. We have more than 21 states in play this year, and the vast majority of those bills reject adoptee equality. The number of bills that the Institute itself has supported, such as Massachusetts, that created, you are on record as having supported, you can look in the records.
Yeah, I know what I did.
But certainly you just submitted testimony in New Jersey.
Have you read it?
Yes, I have read it. I have done full analysis on my website.
Does it say that you support the legislation?
You urged the swift passage in your...
We're not going to get into debate. The testimony we provide, the letter we provide is on our website. I urge you all to read it.
The cover letter that went with your testimony urged the swift passage of New Jersey's bill. New Jersey's bill is going to leave kids behind. That's all I have to say. But speaking as someone who has been left behind, New Jersey's bill is a wreck, and I can't believe you're supporting it.
Okay, I'd like to respond to that if you'd like to listen.
Sure.
Very briefly, please. We want to give other people a chance.
In front of New Jersey legislature basically leaves the Safe Haven alone. The Safe Haven bill was passed in 2000, and we don't like the Safe Haven legislation, but our bill does not do anything to Safe Haven.
Have you read the bill?
Yeah, I know. Have I read the bill?
I apologize.
Have you come to New Jersey and testified? And have you lobbied?
Judy?
Yes,
with
okay, sorry.
Apologies. Does everybody get that people feel passionately about this issue? Yes. Okay. Marley, please.
I'm Marley Reiner, Executive Chair of Bastard Nation, the adoptee rights organization. And as people know, we have a lot of issues too with the Donaldson, with the American Adoption Congress, with New Jersey Care, any organization that does leave people behind. We were formed specifically not to leave anyone behind. When we started our first action, we might say, was the ballot initiative in Oregon. We got no support from mainstream reform adoption organizations. The American Adoption Congress donated $100 to a ballot initiative, and that was it. We were told that we were throwing back the movement 20 years and nothing would ever happen. And we were just hurting them, even though they had not gotten one single clean bill passed. Since then, we have gotten 3 bills passed, working specifically. We did not work with Maine. I like to think we inspired Maine, but we didn't work with Maine, although I was friendly with Bob in particular. We had the ballot initiative passed. It was clear the Supreme Court denied cert. It was followed by Alabama. We worked in New Hampshire. It has proven we can beat the adoption industry. So I don't know why we're here today. We know what the model is. But yet everybody is throwing all this restrictive legislation in. I've got, I won't belabor this issue, but I have some examples. We have one bill, release of the OBC if the adoptee knows the date of birth and the name of the mother. Another one, release of OBC prospectively with disclosure and or contact vetoes. Some vetoes, and this was saying a lot of this, some vetoes are now being called contact preferences. But they have legal teeth. If a parent would sign off on that, I don't have it, my preference is not to be contacted. The adoptee is still not going to get that veto. I mean, that birth certificate. We got the release of OBC, but with disclosure extended retroactively. We've got another one, establishment of an anonymous medical registry with no OBC access. And we've already gone over the New Jersey bill, and I'm writing a book on the politics of safe havens. And I have never seen an OBC access bill that includes safe haven legislation. The state of New Jersey is basically advertising at this point through the media. You want to get rid of your kid, leave at the hospital, safe haven. They're putting the safe haven babies in with border babies, and Sabina really discussed this better than I can right now. It's just absolutely uncalled for. And I would like to address one question. You talk about coming back and picking
real
up.
Quick one.
Yeah, the left behind. How can they be left behind when the state has got a written promise now between the state and a third party that we will not open those records? It's going to take protracted lawsuits, and it's going to be extremely difficult, if ever, to have free states that have vetoes in place.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Hooper, and I am a former foster youth as well as an adoptee, and so I've experienced the process of finding out that you're adopted and trying to locate your birth parents and finding out that your records are sealed and being told by the adoption agency that you should just be happy with the family that you're with and you shouldn't really look for any further information. I've gotten that letter in the mail. So I just feel so privileged and so honored to be in a room with other people that can share that experience, can understand how it feels to be an adoptee, because people that haven't had that experience don't really know how you go through life, always having that question mark in the back of your head. Secondary, I'm also here because I'm the founder and assistant director of Foster Parent Advocacy Foundation, Inc. We're a new nonprofit organization. We're not a partner. We'd love to be a partner, and we love to partner with anyone that's here. What we do is we advocate for good foster parents and also foster youth. We fight for their rights. We want to make sure that they're aware of their rights. We provide advocacy to them. It's particularly very close to my heart because I am a former foster youth, and I know how it feels not to have someone help you with the college process or really try to walk you down the path in terms of making sure that you're going to be okay at the end of the day when you age out of the foster care system. And so if anyone here is interested in becoming part of an organization, volunteering, partnering, please, I have business cards and brochures here with me. I would love to speak with you as well, Mr. Daniels. We have an event coming up May 21st that's honoring and celebrating Foster Care Month, because the youths need to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that it's not their fault that they're in foster care, it's not their fault that they've been adopted, it's not their fault that their birth parents made other decisions that sometimes may lead to a positive vote in your life. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I apologize for this, but the Hard Rock has been fabulous to us, and I want to respect their desire that we leave the room by noon. We really need to do that, so I'm going to try to keep it on schedule. So everybody who cuts their remarks or question down to really, really short will allow more people to get the mic. So, because I will cut it off. So please make your comments as short as you can, okay? Thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Pete Franklin. I'm the founder of AWOL and a member of NJ Care, and it's an honor to be in front of all of you. I love you dearly, and everyone in this room I love, and my twin sisters here, back there somewhere. We were adopted together, and luckily not split up. First, a little bit about the compromise. Our bill in New Jersey, there's a 1-year period where a birth parent can opt for non-disclosure. But you know what? We trust our research. We trust Adam's research. Very, very few women are going to opt for that. So I think you can alleviate some of those worries because we know they're not going to do that. And it sunsets after a year. So I would agree it does suck for a year. But after that, it's over. And Safe Haven is a joke. That's feel-good legislation that should have never passed, and it passed in all 50 states. And I know all of us are going to work towards ending Safe Haven laws.
And we do have a research paper on Safe Haven laws that I urge you to read, which comes to exactly the same conclusion.
And there's hardly any Safe Haven babies, and the people that sponsor it, they want to raise more money to advertise more. It's ridiculous. They need to leave it alone. But Assemblyman Prieto, to you, I want to know how you got involved. When someone went up to you and said, I want you to sponsor legislation, you're going up against the Catholic Conference, Right to Life, ACLU, New Jersey Bar, you're going against the Star Ledger, and we have a Right to Life Catholic governor who will probably veto the bill. What got you involved in this? And we couldn't promise you money or votes, but tell me how you did it.
Actually, I was raised Catholic also, but it's just the right thing to do. And as you saw, as I said before, I've been well educated, and by seeing how Pam Hasegawa, her passion that has rubbed off on me, and it's just wonderful. Like I said, it's the right thing to do, and it's really not about, as I said before, I was not in politics, I was not looking for this life. It was just maybe put here for a purpose. And I think it is the right thing to do. And like I said, most of these folks that I meet, a lot of them are not in my district, but it's just for everybody, is to get it out there. And one thing I do have to stress, it's better having a piece of the pie than not having any of it at all. So you have to start somewhere, and the status quo is not acceptable.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to say thank you to all of you and for all the good work that you do. And I want to make a quick comment about states that do have sandwiches, like Massachusetts, where people were left behind. And the thing is that it would never have passed in Massachusetts without having to do that. And so in terms of leaving people behind, you also are leaving people behind if you aren't willing to compromise. And a lot of them are going to die if you don't get something done. And so recognize that fighting for total clean bills in states where it cannot happen is actually to condemn adoptees from never getting their records. It's not an issue of clean bill or compromise in some states. It's actually an issue of what can you get done. And it's a myth to assume that anybody who's involved in access legislation who's willing to compromise is not for a clean bill. That is the most bogus thing you could possibly say about someone like Pam Hasegawa, who has been fighting for a clean bill basically her entire adult life. And for those contact vetoes that do exist, I would also suggest that as bad as it is, as much as it's not fair, and as much as it's not right that everybody should get their record, the bottom line is I would rather have a birth parent decide for me that you can't have that, and that's communicating with me, than have a state clerk tell me you can never have that. To me, that's a family saying. And so, yeah, that's what I've got. Thank you.
We have two more people at the mic, and we'll do both of them. Claudia?
Hi, if anybody doesn't know me, Claudia Darcy. I would be amiss in a room full of people all fighting for the same things, not to say, I hope that everybody knows about the Adoptee Rights demonstration, which this year will be in August in San Antonio, Texas. Last year we called it Bastard Palooza. This year I think it might be more like a Bastard Barbecue, because it's supposed to be really hot. But the Adoptee Rights Coalition, which is the one lone group that I actually allow myself to be attached to right now because I don't listen to rules well, I'm a bad birth mother, or I should say a good birth mother gone bad. Anyway, just adoptee rights, it's a big demonstration. It's at the National State Legislators Convention, and I always get that wrong. I think it's the National Convention of State Legislators. But what we do is like Uber lobbying, or lobbying on steroids. 50 states at once, lots of fun. The more noise we make outside, the more they come to see us inside and go, what are you guys talking about? And that's what we need them to do. They don't sound as squeaky as I did. Okay.
Hello, my name is James. I just have a question for DMC.
Yes.
Similarly, I lost both my parents in 1988, and in the process of getting all the financials together, we found adoption records for male Gamble.
Wow.
The auditor told me, did your parents have any other boys? Like, no. Well, then it must be you. I called my sister, who's 10 years older than me, living in Colorado. Was I adopted? No, of course not. We found adoption papers for male Gamble. Oh, I always knew your name was Victor.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I pretty much shut off the whole idea, as you mentioned before, about even starting the research, because there's no resources around. So I wanted to find out from you, what were your steps that you did to find out your true birth parents or information like that?
Well, when I found out that I was adopted, I felt all alone. Didn't know nobody that was adopted. And I had a chance meeting with this lady in California named Sheila Jaffe. She's a casting director. She casts Mark Wahlberg, John Travolta, Sopranos, Entourage. And I had went in for an interview for a movie. And the guy was like, yo, you know, we always see Vernon Russell and see Vernon Rapp. What's up with you? So that was the question I was waiting for, because I had just found out that I was adopted, and I was angry. And I was like, well, I just found out at age 35 that I was adopted, and everybody in my neighborhood, including my family, knew, and everybody except me. That's what's up with me. And he looked at me like, and he just said, there's somebody I need you to meet. And it was Sheila Jaffe. She was in his office a week earlier, and she was just venting about, she was doing a search. She had got a private eye, and she was doing a search, and the private eye was this lady named Pam Slayton, who herself was an adoptee, who started a private eye company to serve the adoptive community. So Sheila was venting about her 3 dead mothers she found, and all the other dead ends, and he said, I got somebody I need you to meet. So I got to meet Sheila. I got to discuss my feelings. She told me her feelings. And then she goes, oh, by the way, we have an adoption discussion group that meets twice a month. What you talking about, Sheila? Well, we get in a room, and adoptees from all walks of life, all races, all ages, we just sit in a room and we just talk about our feelings. Set change. I'm at this meeting with real live adopted people. I don't feel alone no more, you know what I'm saying? And they started talking about the reunion and the search, and I was like, search, what's that? So basically what I did, because of the chance meeting with Sheila, she introduced me to this private eye lady, Pam Slayton, who has a show on Oprah's network right now. But she introduced me to Pam, and Pam, the good thing about Pam is she was adopted herself. She feels, she knows everything that you're going through. So fortunately for me, I was able to go through Pam, and she told me what to do, how to go down to the Hall of Records and, use what information that you have in a way that I was able to get. Even a lead on my birth mother was, my mother and father told me I was born in New York Hospital, but I wasn't. Pam found out that I was born in Harlem Hospital. So I had to go and get my birth records from Harlem Hospital. But I knew, I didn't have no ID. She found out that my mother's last name was Lovelace. So I knew when I go down there and ask for my birth records from Harlem Hospital, I don't have anything that says McDaniels, because she said, yo, they're going to ask you for ID, and I ain't got it, but I'm going to go give it a try. Because I went to the Hall of Records on Center Street and said, yeah, here's my ID, I want my birth certificate and my birth records. And they went to the room and came back with the birth certificate I already had. And I was just playing with them. I said, no, I don't want that one. I want the one that's locked in the basement of the one in Albany. Just so I can hear this lady say, this hurt. She said, no, you can't have that. And I said, you mean to tell me you could go in the room and look at it, somebody know the president, all these people could go look at my birthday, and I can't, but that hurt. So when I went to Harlem Hospital, I went there and said, I'm here to get my records. And she told me, don't say Daryl McDaniels, just say Daryl Lovelace and see what happened. So I said, I'm Daryl Lovelace, I want my birth records, all my birth stuff from Harlem Hospital. So the guy went in and watched it, opened the drawer, and he pulled it out. And I was like, shit, there it is. And then he goes, yeah, I got it right here. It said 1964, whatever. But then he says, yo, I can't show it to you unless you show me ID. So I just did use quick thinking, and I was like, man, my passport, my driver's license, and I was with my manager, Eric, who's my best friend. He was over there. Eric was like, yo, we left everything on the tour bus, and the tour bus pulled off. We got to meet the tour. And the dude, he was kind of young. He said, you don't have anything that says who you are. My man Eric held up an album cover. And the guy was like, well, that's good enough for me. But then we went in the room, and he opened it up to my page, and you know, I seen with the stuff that was blacked out and all of that, and you know, and I was looking, and it said, you know, Bernstein, your love, and I'm trying to comprehend this great opportunity. And right when I'm getting ready to read it, the supervisor walks in and says, you can't look at that right now unless you show us some valid ID. But right at the bottom of the page, they crossed out all the identifying information of my mother and everything, except the address where she was living at. And I was like, my eyes was on it, and it closed, and I didn't have time to comprehend it. But fortunately, my friend Eric had his BlackBerry out, and he was writing Hamilton Heights. Washington Heights up in Hamilton, 135th Street. So that Harlem Hospital went to 135th Street, and I was scared to go, you know, knock on the door. So I was doing a documentary, so I sent the camera guy to knock on the door, and he knocked on the door, and he said, because we knew my mother's name was Bernstein Lovelace. She said, we just want to know, is it Bernstein Lovelace? Do you know Bernstein Lovelace? And the lady, she was about 80 years old, she said, Bernstein, that's my niece. And I just ran. But that lead led me to find out how, you know, I found my birthmark. But I used the private eye. I mean, some people go through hell to find out something that they should have. And I don't know why Master Nation is mad at me, because the reason why I'm using humor is because obviously anger and politics really don't get you nowhere either. It would be better if you said, Daryl, why don't you come with me and we could together walk in these rooms? That's all I'm saying. The reason why I'm using humor, no, you gotta understand something. The reason why I'm using humor is not because I think it's a joke, and not because I'm even more special than anybody. But I've learned over my years when I studied rock and roll and I studied the arts, every rebellion that leads to some change starts through the arts, whether it's through literature, whether it's through music, whether it's through paintings. So I don't want you to get mad at me like I caused this situation. I would prefer for you to give me some advice on how to help y'all out, because at the beginning of this, when I walked to the mic lady, I said I'm new to this. I don't know, I didn't write these laws, and the thing that's pissing me off, like I said, yeah, it hurt that my mother and father held the secret from me. I found out all my cousins who were younger than me knew. And you know why I joke? Because this is what happened. When I was growing up, my house, I gotta give it to my mother and father who kept me. My house was Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July. There was always events at my house, and I think about my little cousins. How come they never let it slip? Because their mothers and fathers probably set them down and told the kids about the secret that was held in from me, that they didn't want me to find it because it would have hurt me. They said, we're going to the McDaniels house for the 4th of July cookout. To the little kids, what's the rules, kids? Nobody let Daryl know he was adopted. That hurts. But what hurts me even more is the fact that I can't get my birth certificate like all those other people that's left out. Maybe you need to introduce me to those people that got left out so DMC could go talk to them and do what I did when I went in Jersey. I didn't know nothing. I just went in Jersey and told my story, and the senators there said, okay, we're going to let the bill go upstairs. That's what I'm trying to do. So maybe what you're trying to do, explain to me what needs to be done. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but maybe with a little humor and a little hip-hop swag, we can make some things